It's the latest fad going around, and now I want one of myself. I just have no idea how I'm going to carry it around. Glenrock versus Cody in the 3A state championship game. First quarter, Glenrock wearing the purple. The score is tied at 2. Devon Parkinson was looking for somebody, and then he decided to just take care of things himself. It got the job done, and his team is ahead 4-2. Cody would find themselves in a hole early on, and they had to dig their way out of it. Carter Myers finds a way to score underneath, and that helps some, although his squad is being doubled up 8-4. Meanwhile, the Herders have been one of the surprise teams coming into this tournament because they got their act together late in the season. David Parkinson puts the 3 ball in the side pocket, and the score is mildly surprising right now. It's 11-4. Both of these teams did pretty good in shooting the long ball, and now it was time for the Bronx to answer. Myers can score up close and from far away. His team only trails 11-7. Before this game, Glenrock has not played in the championship game since they last won it all back in 1978. Devon Parkinson and his friends were not around at that time, so this was new to them. So far so good, they lead 13-7. The opposition was starting to wise up to their attack plan, but the Herders had a backup ready. In this case, it was Kyle Lee, and that would give his team a 15-7 advantage after the first 8 minutes. Second quarter, Cody's big guns had yet to make their move, and now is a good time to get started. Brandon Hinsey, pull up from 14 feet, good. That got the score moving. It's 15-9. This was where the Bronx made their run, and they're still running, or rather, Hinsey was. On the fast break, hoop, and the foul. The 3-point play would close the gap on the scoreboard. It's now 15-12. His buddies were helping him out and made their contributions. Ryan Nieders, good sell on the fake pass. He will bronc ride that 3, swish it, and tie this game up. It's 15-all, and there's plenty of basketball yet to be played. One Hinsey was causing enough problems for the opposition, but just to make things interesting, there was another. Blake Hinsey puts up a floater and sinks it to cap off a 10-zip run, and Cody has taken their first lead of the game, up 17-15. Glenrock needed to regroup. Their offense picked the wrong time to take a break. Nick Harnden would provide a much-needed wake-up call, and the advantage has changed hands again. It's 18-17. I mentioned the Herders last won it all back in '78. Well, it's been even longer for the Bronx. 57 years. Brandon Hinsey's grandfather could probably tell some stories on that, but the senior was writing a new chapter in this book. That 3 puts his boys back up 22-18. This game was going back and forth, which is always good for a title game. Harnden from the top of the key, give him 3. We have ourselves a ball game. Things were knotted up at 25 going into the locker room. Third quarter, the pendulum kept going one way and then the other. Nick Schmidt will strike for 3 of his 10 to put Cody back on top by a score of 28-25. Back came the opposition. David Parkinson in the corner, causing his own brand of trouble. The Parkinson boys made up a chunk of Glenrock's offense. Things are even up at 28. Now is not a bad time for some team to make a move and put in some distance. Myers took that idea a bit literally, and it worked. He poured in a dozen, and now it's a 33-30 game with the Bronx ahead. Speaking of making a move, Brandon Hinsey is already a few steps ahead of me and the defense. He led all scores with 19 points, and that fast break would open up a 7-point cushion. It's now 37-30. The bench was getting in on the act as well. This is the only highlight for Jackson Bauer, but it was big. He has a pair of 3s on his jersey for a reason. Cody was up 42-35 going into the final 8 minutes. Fourth quarter, the Bronx knew they had to stay on the attack. There was too much time remaining. Jackson Holt hits a roadblock and decides to shoot over it for 2. The lead is up to 8. It's 44-36. The Herders would find themselves down 10, but they would turn their game up a notch. Devon Parkinson, right place, right time for the deflection, hoop, and the whistle. 17 points were his numbers, but his squad needed more, down 48-40. We have not seen Glenrock's big man yet, and it's past time for him to show up. Jordan Millay, a 6'5 junior, finally gets the drop, and that made the score a little closer. It's 48-42. Later, time is not yet a factor, but the Herders were not wasting any. Off of the rejection, Devon Parkinson scores again. The deficit is down to 3. It's 52-49. On the other end of the court, this next highlight is quick. We lost the ball for a moment, then we found Brandon Hinsey, bucket, foul, and that was the backbreaker. The game went into free throw mode for his team after that, and his buddies made 7 of 9 down the stretch. It was a long time coming for both teams, but that 1957 trophy in Cody has collected a lot more dust. It was overdue for a polishing. The Broncs win only their 2nd title in school history. Final score 61-53, as they would finish the season with a record of 25-3.